Good Agricultural Environmental Condition, GAEC. What's involved there for farmers?
Well, on a good agricultural and environmental conditions inspection, there are two main areas we'll be focusing on. The first will be to do with risks with soil erosion and possible damage to soil structure. In relation to soil erosion, which can be caused by wind or rain, basically, especially during the winter months, we'll be looking to see that there are no fields left with finely tinned soils where the soil can basically wash away in extreme weather conditions.
So, poaching is an issue you look at. Is that considered poaching?
No, that'd be just down to normal animals congregating at a gate or traffic. It's an access point, basically, so we wouldn't be really worried about that.
So, what are you looking for in poaching? What would get a penalty?
Basically, we'll be looking at the land in the wintertime to make sure it's not overgrazed. Basically, if stock are left on land where the grass is gone and they're left in sacrifice paddocks, say, when green cover starts to disappear, animals are doing harm to the land, basically. So that will be an issue in cases. We'll also be looking where round feeders are in use on the land to see that the area around it is not severely poached. Basically, when the soil becomes liquid, then you're in a case where you're having soil erosion. So that may lead to penalties.
Yeah. So if the soil is very liquid around the ring feeder, the farmer could get a penalty then?
Absolutely, yeah. If feeders are in use in the land during the winter months, they should be moved at regular intervals, depending on the weather.
Yeah. And outwintering cattle on rape and kale, is that a problem?
It's allowed, as long as the weather is kind of suitable and that the cattle can have a lie back, that they won't be continuously on the area where the kale is.
And is poaching just a winter problem, or can you come across issues in the summer as well?
Well, in severe wet weather, as we've had during the summers of 2008 and 2009, it can be an issue in places, especially where farmers have to supplementary feed animals.
Yeah. And I've seen cases where I suppose farmers are driving the tractor in one path across the field. is that a problem? That's
a problem, because basically you'll be damaging soil structure. If you're travelling with heavy machinery on wet or waterlogged soil, and leaving heavy or deep root marks on the soil, that can be a problem. Generally, the second element then of a GAEC inspection will be to deal with the maintenance of what is actually on the land. Firstly, we'll be looking to see that the land is actually utilised to be eligible for single farm payment in the first place. Basically, there should be agricultural activity on the land, or if not, it should be topped or managed in such a way that the land can be used for agricultural activity the following year. Just in relation to hedges or landscape features, there should be a routine maintenance programme to stop a kind of encroachment of hedges or encroachment leading to invasive species developing on the land. We'll also be looking to see if we will have a list maybe of monuments or archaeological features on the land, and we'll be looking to see that they haven't been disturbed recently. We'll also be checking for noxious weeds to see that there's not a noxious weed problem.
So ragwort, thistle, docks?
Yeah, large infestations of ragwort and thistles and docks, not topped or sprayed, can lead to sanctions.
John, hedges are now part of landscape features. What does that mean for farmers, and what's it mean for you when you're doing the inspections?
Well, basically it's a requirement for farmers at the minute to retain any habitats that are on their farm. Since 2009, basically a farmer is not allowed to remove a hedge unless he agrees to replant an equivalent length of hedge on another location on his lands. Or alternatively, if he wants to cut back and rejuvenate a hedge, he must replant a hedge immediately.
So before a farmer removes a hedge, he must plant a new hedge of the same length?
That's right. He doesn't need to seek approval if he has replanted an equivalent length of hedge to what he's going to remove.
So when you come, you see in the map that there's a hedge gone, so you'll be looking for where did you plant a new hedge?
That's right. We'll be looking for the new hedge and maybe just do a quick measure to make sure it's equivalent to what has been removed. Also with drains, if you're going to infill a drain on your land, you should create a new drain somewhere else.
So looking at this hedge here now, this is an old hedge. Is that all right there?
Yeah, that's in good condition at the moment. I will just need a trim, maybe some routine hedge cutting in a couple of years' time to stop it from encroaching further on the land and maybe leading to some invasive species.
And there's some very mature trees. Can a farmer touch those at all, or does he have to leave them there?
No, at the moment you need to get a licence if you're going to do tree cutting on your land. Also, if you want, really you should avoid trying to remove any kind of habitats, especially on national heritage areas or special areas of conservation, irrespective of what kind of habitat it is. Also on continuous land that has been in continuous tillage for 6 years or more, there's a request now to do some sampling of organic matter in the soils on some farms, so farmers will have to comply with that as well if requested.
So John, you do a lot of checking of what farmers are doing in the fields, but what about records? What records are needed under GAEC?
Well, basically none at the moment, but from 2011 onwards, we'll be checking to see that a farmer is testing for organic matter on continuous tillage fields. Basically, we'll be verifying that he has sampled all the lands and that the values are acceptable.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I mean, it's really just maintaining what's there.
Maintaining what's there, yeah, and keeping it in good condition.
Yeah.